Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be running through my team selection ahead of match day 5 in UCL Fantasy. Of course, if you do enjoy the Champions League content that you see on the channel, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as we are trying to hit 25,000 subscribers before the end of the season, and it is only possible with your amazing support. And obviously, if you want to see more UCL content on the channel, make sure you are smashing that like button to let me know. Let's then take a look at how my team got on in match day 4. As you can see, there was a few standout picks in here. Obviously, Moreno from Arsenal, I brought him in for a -4. That was an absolute masterstroke from me. As you can see, a big walloping 16 pointer as well. So I'm very, very happy with that. Outside, there was a few other players that, just kind of contributed, but nothing too mega. I would definitely say the first day massively outweighed the second day. We didn't really have anybody do too much in terms of the second day. Thankfully, Haaland got a goal. We did decide to, of course, switch up our captain from match day 1, head to Haaland in match day, the second round of the match day. And yeah, he got a goal, but nothing really else other than that. But at least he didn't blank. We got ourselves a green arrow despite taking a -4, and we do move up to 8.5k. So I think we're in a very nice position. Obviously, this week I'm expecting maybe a little bit of a red arrow. I think a lot of people are going to be on Limitless this week, and I, of course, have already played my Limitless and wildcard chips, so I don't have any chips to play heading into the remainder of the group stages, which is a little bit scary. However, I do have a master plan. As you can see, we do have a few problem players. Gabriel looks like he, from Arteta, is going to be out for weeks, so he is going to be an issue we are going to have to deal with our transfers. Moreno, I don't expect to play. He might do, but it's still not the best fixture where I would really want to play him. Probably looking for, a move out for him. And Rashford missed out on the Bilbao game at the weekend with a virus. So we're going to have to wait and see if he's fit and available. But again, Chelsea away doesn't feel like the most optimal fixture for Marcus Rashford. And I do have some very good moves in mind that I think for me are going to set the team up very, very nicely. And we might be looking at another -4. Before, of course, we head into my plans, let's take a look at the data, the projected data, should I say, coming from FPL Shadden. Of course, if you want to go check out his amazing work, I will leave a link to his Patreon and his socials in the description, so you can go and check him out for yourself. Some absolutely cracking work if, of course, you do play Champions League Fantasy. His model is brilliant. His data, obviously projections here, are brilliant as well for, of course, planning out transfers and stuff like that. So I'd highly recommend going and checking his, Patreon out. Like I said, there will be a link in the description. He's not obviously done the match day 5 data yet. However, we are going to have to use the match day 4 data and look for fixtures where we really want to be targeting. We can actually see some decent fixtures after match day 5 for Barcelona, so it still actually might be worth keeping Marcus Rashford if he is fit and available. We can, of course, get the good fixture in 6, 7, and 8 with some great projected goals there. Liverpool, obviously, they're struggling in the Premier League at the moment. They've not been great in the Champions League either. However, do have the best projected goals this week in match day 5. I think they're going to be looking for a response after a disappointing result against Nottingham Forest. So if you are on a Limitless, definitely worth considering. Some other teams to pick out from the Limitless as well for this week. Paris Saint-Germain up against Spurs, a great fixture for them. So definitely, obviously, be looking at some PSG players on the Limitless. We've also got Galatasaray as well. Victor Osimhen absolutely smashing in the goals right now as well. So he could be a pretty decent pickup you could maybe look at as well. Monaco, Sporting, and Copenhagen as well would be also some pretty decent picks for the Limitless this week, with, of course, just one-off good fixtures, and look to get the best out of those teams as well. In terms of some teams probably we want to be targeting a little bit more longer term, I definitely say after match day 5, Bayern Munich definitely come back into the fold. So Elise, Harry Kane, players like that, really going to be on our radar as well. I think as well, we've also got to look at the likes of Arsenal. Again, once you get that Bayern fixture out the way, a 1.99 in match day 6, and then an absolutely cracking fixture in match day 8. So if you are on a match day 8 Limitless, probably some of the teams here, Barca, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, definitely going to be featuring within your Limitless chip for that game week. Let's switch over then to the clean sheet projection data. I know a lot of us are, of course, in the same boat as myself. Gabriel out. We're going to have to look for alternative replacements. And looking at the Arsenal projections after match day 5, they're still very, very decent. So maybe looking at a Saliba, a Timber, a Calafiori could also potentially be a decent shout. We're seeing some pretty good projections for Napoli. So maybe Di Lorenzo Alonso could be the potential replacements. Obviously, their best fixture in matchday 5 as well. Liverpool with some pretty decent numbers over that period, but I think given their record right now, I probably would stay clear of it. A great guy that is absolutely great for ball recoveries is Bremer from Juventus as well. We can see they've got some cracking fixtures coming up in terms of their projected clean sheet. So again, you might want to potentially take a look at an investment into their defense over the next few weeks. For potentially some budget picks as well, Newcastle have got some pretty favorable clean sheet numbers across the board. If, of course, you are on a limitless this week, I definitely think you've got to be looking at maybe like a double Napoli, with them having the best projections for clean sheets as well. They've not been great in front of goal, only 4 goals over their past 5 league games, a lot of nil-nils in there as well, a 0-0 in their last round against Frankfurt as well. Sporting, again, definitely worth considering some of their defenders. Copenhagen as well with a 0.49 as well. Liverpool, definitely if you're fancying them, but I know obviously a lot of people might be getting a little bit of cold feet around Liverpool given their recent form within the Premier League. That, of course, is the projected data from FPL Shadden. If you want to go and take a look for it yourself, like I said, I will leave a link to his amazing, I nearly said Discord, his Patreon in the description. So go and check that out. Like I said, I will leave a link to it. And let's go and look at how I'm lining up for this game week and my potential transfer plans. Okay, so here is my team if I was to make absolutely 0 moves this game week. Like I said, we do have a few problem players. Gabriel and Rashford both flagged, and not a great fixture for Moreno up this week. However, the rest of the team I am pretty content with. Obviously, Mbappe up against Olympiacos, Harry Kane up against Leverkusen as well. I think Yamal, the form that he's in right now, definitely could give Chelsea a good run for their money as well. Tottenham at home against PSG. Obviously, they did the win over them earlier in the season in the Super Cup. However, I'm expecting some big things from PSG, and they've not been great in the Champions League so far, so I do think, it's time for them to step up. A great fixture as well for my Monaco players as well, up against Paphos, so I'm never ever going to complain too much about that one. Unfortunately, both my goalkeepers do play on the same day, but we're just going to back Napoli with them having the best projected clean sheet numbers for this game week. So I've got 2 transfer plans in mind. Both of them, of course, do require taking a -4. If you've watched this channel for a long time and know how my UCL content works, you know I'm all about potentially taking hits to get a little bit ahead. I don't mind taking hits in this short format game just to try and score as many points as possible. Sometimes they work, like last week with Moreno with that big double-digit haul. Sometimes they do fall on their arse. However, let's run through both of my options that I am thinking about. So this is option 1. Just make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. Wonderful stuff. So this is bringing in Nuno Mendes for Gabriel with some good fixtures coming up for PSG. He's been an absolute beast in the Champions League and in Ligue 1 this season. He's really probably, I would say, ran Hakimi very close in terms of, the fantasy pick to go for a defender. Obviously, for years, we've all known Hakimi has been that guy, but very recently, Nuno Mendes has been absolutely exceptional. We'd also bring in Kenan Yildiz as well with a great fixture this week up against Bodo Glimt. Everybody seems to be scoring against them. Great. The following week as well, Juve then have Paphos. They've also got Benfica and Monaco. So he could just be a player that we very easily stick with for the remainder of this run, because they are some absolutely great fixtures. I would feel very, very comfortable playing a player of his quality in any single one of those games. And I do feel there could be some big double-digit hauls for Juve players in either the Bodo Glimt game or the Paphos game in matchday 5 or matchday 6. So I like that move. And then the final one to free it all up, and obviously if Rashford isn't available, would be to bring in Rasmus Højlund. Back from injury, obviously featured in matchday 4 with just a 2-pointer, unfortunately. Got himself an assist against Atalanta this weekend. But again, they've got some pretty steady fixtures, especially the next 3. I feel very, very comfortable playing him in. Of course, Karabag, Benfica, and then FC Copenhagen. All games where I very easily could see Rasmus Højlund scoring. And for 6.2 million, does seem like he could be a very decent, cheap forward option. So I don't mind those moves. Again, it would require a -4, but I'm not against it. My other options, and this one's a little bit different. Again, we've still got Nuno Mendes in there. Like I said, I just think he's a different class above the rest right now. The other options, as you can see on screen, They're a little bit different. So we've got Valivojevic up front. And the reason for this, again, is purely down to these fixtures. Got himself an assist at the weekend in Juventus's games. But look at these games. There is definitely going to be one of the Juve attackers that really goes off big during these games here for me, either against Boda or against Paphos. I think a lot of people are probably going to be looking at Yildiz, but I think Valivojevic could also be an absolutely cracking option during this time period. The other option we have gone for here, I believe it's pronounced Papagui or Gay. Someone correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. The reason this guy's in here is purely to enable that move to happen. And all he really does is just ball recoveries. He doesn't do anything else. It is just ball recoveries. So he'd come on and probably maybe get us like a 4 or a 5 pointer. Nothing fancy, nothing exciting. I couldn't really see anybody around that price range that would really give us anything kind of, worth talking about. So that is kind of the option. I do think I'm preferring leaning towards option 1. This feels like the better option to me. I think Kenan Yildiz, with obviously his high ownership as well at the moment. What is he at? 17%. He just feels like the better, more kind of probably safe, effective ownership pick. And it also allows me to get a little bit of a better player in Rasmus Højlund, who I feel could maybe hit some big hauls with, of course, some pretty steady fixtures over the next few weeks. Let me know in the comments section, which option do you prefer, option 1 or option 2? If you've got any questions about your side as well, get them in the comments, or make sure you join in my FPL Cartel Discord. We've got a dedicated UCL fantasy section over on there as well. So come over there, get your comments in, and let me know which way you're potentially swinging on that one. Thank you very much for watching today's video, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck in match day 5.